The sun had dipped below the horizon, casting long spectral shadows that crept through Woodbury like ancient specters, swallowing the last vestiges of the day. John Davis, a man of modest height with the countenance of a stoic, sat alone in his car, observing the town's visage through the evening gloom. It was an inauspicious arrival, the drizzle that greeted him tapping against the window pane, punctuating the silence in rhythm with his own thoughts. Within the solitude of his car, relics of his life were scattered. A dog-eared photo of a young woman cradling a child, her eyes reflected in the boy's. A memento of an innocence lost, a stark reminder of his life's great tragedy and the ghost that colored his world with soft tones of melancholy. Around him, Woodbury lay wrapped in an ethereal quiet, as if caught in a ceaseless dream. The houses huddled together in quaint rows, their chimneys cold and hearths silent, the laughter and warmth that usually filled them absent. All roads seemed to lead to the town's morgue, a stern edifice that loomed over Woodbury like a silent guardian. Exiting his car, Davis was met with the chill of the Minnesota air that swept through the town, carrying with it whispers of the missing, echoes of the town's hidden fears. The rain-drenched streets reflected the pallor of the moonlight, a silver sheen that contrasted the somber character of the town, hinting at the underlying polarity that he was here to dissect. He sighed, his breath fogging up in the cold, a phantom of the air. His assignment had begun. The following day, he made his way to the local diner, a modest establishment that seemed to hold the heartbeats of Woodbury within its worn-out walls. Over a cup of black coffee and dry toast, he introduced himself to the waitress, a middle-aged woman named Martha. His voice was quiet but commanding, his words carefully chosen. "Martha," he began, his gaze steady, "I need to know about the disappearances and the morgue. Anything you can tell me will be of great help." A silence settled between them. Martha eyed him with a mixture of suspicion and relief, her hardened exterior giving way to the primal human instinct of sharing one's burdens. "It's as if the town's caught in some kind of a bad dream," she finally said, her voice dropping to a hushed whisper, "and we can't seem to wake up." She told him about the disappearances, her words weaving a chilling tale that hung in the air long after she'd departed his table. He listened, his expression stoic, but his eyes revealing an empathy that was hard-won and deep-seated. His silence was patient, inviting more stories, each one drawing him deeper into the enigmatic labyrinth that was Woodbury. In the days that followed, he plunged into the pulsating heart of the town. He walked along the quiet streets, through the town square, past the hushed whispers of wary townsfolk, always ending his wanderings at the silent morgue. His intuition guided him, each observation and conversation subtly tilting the scales of truth, exposing the underbelly of the quiet town and inching him closer to the heart of the cosmic mystery. He was standing before the morgue under the spectral light of the waning moon, a sense of foreboding settling over him like a shroud. In this uncanny silence, he found his resolve hardened, his motivation to overcome his own past trauma intertwined with the unraveling of Woodbury's nightmare. It was the beginning of a journey, one that promised a chilling descent into the shadowy recesses of the human psyche and the cosmic horrors lurking beneath the veneer of the mundane. He was ready for the secrets that the morbid structure held within, ready to tread on the path that twisted into the unfathomable darkness ahead. In the quiet solitude of dawn, John Davis examined the cryptic morgue from afar. Its form, shrouded in the early mist, held an air of stoic resignation, as if it knew the secrets it harbored would soon be unearthed. Throughout the following days, he immersed himself in a meticulous investigation, his journalistic instincts set on a steady rhythm of exploration and comprehension. He began to piece together the town's fragmented tales, drawing an unsettling pattern from the chaos of the vanishing townsfolk. A strange glow was often reported near the morgue during the hours of darkness. It was ephemeral, a transient spectacle that defied explanation. Late one evening, he positioned himself near the structure, hidden behind a veil of shadows. In the thick of the night, he too glimpsed the alien luminosity. It danced around the morgue, elusive and eerie, a spectral ballet of light that painted an otherworldly tableau against the somber backdrop. His path led him to the morgue's employees, their faces etched with weariness. One such character was the night watchman, Oliver. Davis met him in the quiet back room of a local pub, away from prying eyes. Over glasses of whiskey, their voices were swallowed by the murmur of the pub, and Davis probed Oliver's recollections. "Tell me about the morgue, Oliver," he coaxed, his gaze locked on the man's haunted eyes. Oliver hesitated, the veneer of bravado waning under Davis's steady scrutiny. "There's something wrong with that place, Mr. Davis," he began, his voice tremulous. "At night, it doesn't feel right. It's like it's alive." He spoke of uncanny incidents, unexplained noises, spectral whispers, and inexplicable cold spots. The air inside was often heavy, charged with a lingering dread that clung to his skin long after he left. But his most chilling revelation was of the luminescent entities that frequented the morgue. "I've seen them too," Oliver confided, his voice a hushed whisper, barely discernible over the hum of the pub. "Those lights, they aren't of this world." The grotesque labyrinth of cosmic horror was gradually revealing itself. Davis felt a growing unease, the tendrils of a colossal, terrifying entity wrapping around the quaint town, insidiously seeping into its every crack. As he sank into sleep each night, the whispers of the town echoed in his dreams, manifesting in ethereal landscapes filled with cryptic symbols and disembodied voices. Towards the end of the chapter, he found himself outside the morgue again, the moonlight casting the building in an otherworldly pallor. He felt an inexplicable pull, a force beckoning him to delve deeper into the mystery, to peer beyond the veil of reality and expose the cosmic horror lurking in the shadows. The morgue, with its sealed lips and stony facade, was no longer a mere structure of stone and mortar. It had transformed into a living, breathing antagonist, whispering tales of a world far beyond human comprehension. As he watched the moon's glow bathe the morgue, he realized that the disappeared were not lost, but chosen. The revelation sent a chill down his spine, a harbinger of the dangerous labyrinth that lay ahead. The shadows of Woodbury's horrors were growing longer, and he was stepping further into their reach. The chase was reversing, the pursued becoming the pursuer. As dawn stretched its rosy fingers across the sleeping town, Davis woke with a start. The echo of a nightmare reverberated through his pounding heart, a terrifying visage of grotesque, unearthly beings that reached out for him from the shadows. Their voices, a cacophonous symphony, seemed to emanate from the very bowels of the morgue. These nocturnal terrors, birthed from the womb of the unexplainable, began to populate his nights, painting his dreams with a ghastly palette. His mornings were no sanctuary either. One such daybreak, he found his room ransacked, his belongings strewn about in a frenzied display of violation. Most unnerving was the strange alien message inscribed on his mirror, written in a bizarre language that bore no semblance to any known to mankind. The letters squirmed and twisted under his gaze, imbuing the air with an ominous heaviness. An unfamiliar dread began to coil in the pit of his stomach. Undeterred, he decided to decode the inscrutable message. He consulted local historians, dabbled in linguistics, and even turned to cryptographers in his search for answers. Finally, it was an esoteric volume on ancient, cosmic languages, discovered in the dust-ridden corner of a town library, that revealed the horrifying truth. The antagonists knew of him, were watching him. The revelation hit him like a rogue wave, pulling him deeper in. He was not an outsider looking into the town's nightmare. He was a part of it, a character penned by an unseen hand. The implications were terrifying. His every step, every revelation was not by his volition, but guided by a cosmic puppeteer pulling the unseen strings. A chilling change swept over Woodbury. The town's quiet tranquility curdled into an uneasy silence, the air growing thick with paranoia and fear. Conversations became hushed whispers, glances turned wary, and the morgue, with its enigmatic aura, bore witness to it all. His encounters with the townsfolk grew increasingly fraught with tension. Martha, once a fountain of information, now seemed reticent. Her voice, previously warm and welcoming, echoed with cold reserve when she spoke to him. "You're in deeper than you think, Mr. Davis," she warned him one afternoon, her eyes casting fleeting glances towards the ever-looming morgue. His world was contracting, and at its epicenter was the morgue, a looming monolith that no longer held its peace. At night, it buzzed with an eerie energy, the building seemingly alive with cosmic pulsations. The silence of the night was broken by otherworldly hums that seemed to be calling him, a sinister lullaby floating on the wind. No longer an observer, he stood at the precipice of his journey. His fear was no longer a vague entity, but a tangible beast that bared its teeth in the darkness, waiting to strike. Yet in this chilling game of predator and prey, he found a morbid resolve to confront the cosmic terror that clung to the underbelly of Woodbury. As the night descended, the town held its breath, the morgue pulsated with an ethereal glow, and he was left standing at the mouth of the ever-widening abyss, the line between the pursuer and the pursued blurring in the spectral moonlight. On the fringe of the town, nightfall descended like an unholy shroud, the celestial bodies above retreating behind a curtain of inky blackness. Davis, a lone figure against the daunting silhouette of the morgue, prepared to enter its chilling depths. His courage was a single flame flickering defiantly in the cosmic void, the cruel dance of destiny lending him a newfound determination. His past trauma, now a spectral companion, whispered echoes of perseverance into his ear, giving him the strength to confront the shadows within himself and those lurking in the heart of the town. His hand trembled as he opened the morgue's heavy door, its creaking a mournful dirge that echoed the fear pulsating in his veins. The air inside was thick, each breath he took laced with the metallic tang of an otherworldly energy. The building's innards were labyrinthine, a twisted reflection of the cosmic maze that held Woodbury in its monstrous grip. The further he ventured, the more pronounced the spectral hum became, the unearthly lullaby a chilling serenade as he stepped deeper into the belly of the cosmic beast. Every corner turned, every cryptic symbol adorning the morgue's grim walls felt like a piece of a grotesque puzzle. He was not merely uncovering Woodbury's nightmare, but was descending into the chaotic depths of his own psyche, each revelation a mirror to his buried traumas, his deepest fears. As he plunged further into the morgue, he began to sense an entity, or entities, that defied explanation. The air around him was charged with an indescribable presence, a suffocating darkness that seemed to pulse with sentient malice. It was not the terror of his childhood or the phantom of his lost parent, but a fear that was vast, an ocean of dread that threatened to consume his sanity. There was no dramatic confrontation, no violent struggle. The cosmic horror did not exist within the bounds of human understanding. It was as intangible as the shadows, as elusive as the whispers carried by the wind. Its terror was felt, an insidious chill that nestled into the corners of one's soul, growing roots and blooming into a relentless fear. His encounter with the entity left him drained, a vessel emptied of all but raw, primal fear. His exit from the morgue was a staggered retreat, a desperate escape from the cosmic horror that had taken residence in his psyche. The door behind him shut with a loud, echoing thud, a terrifying chapter closed but leaving a mark that could never be erased. In the end, Davis escaped the clutches of Woodbury's dread. He left the town, the haunting silhouette of the morgue receding in his rearview mirror. Yet his escape was not absolute. He bore the scars of his ordeal, its echoes resonating in the corners of his mind, a chilling reminder of the unfathomable darkness he had brushed against. His story ended with a haunting ambiguity. His car speeded away from the town, Woodbury growing smaller and smaller until it disappeared from his sight. But the echoes of the morgue, the insidious melody of the cosmic terror, continued to reverberate in the chilling silence, a sinister reminder of the horrors lurking in the shadows of the universe. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed our content, show your support with a like and subscribe, and stay notified by hitting the bell icon. Expect more cosmic horror from Eldritch Tales Factory, and feel free to explore our other stories. See you in the next video.